What can I say except you're welcome?
Now the whole world can acknowledge me.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Miami the Great. I'm back. I got my stuff on. You see how I came just for work. I gotta take that off. What's going on? Hey, all right. Let me try to turn this off. Get this little better lighting for you guys. Is that better? Yeah, that's better. What's going on, guys? This is another episode of Talk It Up. Of Talk It Up. Trying to get my camera here straight. Let's see. Let's put this right here. The lighting here is just crazy right now. Won't blend in with me. 1 minute wants to work, the next minute it doesn't, guys. That's the camera. It's not me. Let's get our background here going, guys. What's going on with you guys? You guys, we're going to talk about Raw today. Get into a little Raw about what happened with Raw, what was going on with Raw. A few things about a couple topics that me and Final Boss wants to get in conversation with about some things. So welcome to Talk It Up, you guys. Oh, that's a little better. Um, so shouts out to everyone who's stopping by, coming by. Welcome, coming in. I'm getting everything together. So you guys give me a minute. Um, Shouts out to everyone who's stopping by today. um, you guys enjoyed Raw. What's your thoughts about Raw? We're going to definitely talk about what went on with the vision of the breakup. I feel like it was too soon, too way too soon. So we're definitely going to talk about what went on with the vision. If you guys want to give us a follow, give me a follow on my page. It's Miami the Great. If you're on X right now, you see me um, from Miami the Great 645, the island of DWE. Find a boss, baby. That's two B's, one Y, CFO on X. You can also find our Instagram. Soon we will add that to the link down below. So you guys can check that out if you want to check that out for you guys. I'm gonna make myself smaller so you guys can see the background a little better. Oh nope, that didn't do it. So I messed that up. I think I gotta put the background back on there to get that back on there. Let's see. There we go. So uh, that's better. I thank y'all guys. Oh well, I was gonna say I'm one of her biggest haters now because it's blocking her, her thing. Jesus Christ, she's gonna have to come in here for me for us to see it. So that's probably why it's like that. Um, because I got already here now. Yo, Miami Mike. Hey, y'all guys, check the Gimmick Table Media. They're new to our family. We're new to their family, I mean, and new to our family. So they have a lot of shows too. Kicking Out is one of their shows. So please check them out on YouTube. You guys can check me out tomorrow. I will be live also on the Collected page. That's the Collected on their YouTube. So you want to guys check me out on there. You guys can check me out over there. We're gonna be probably talking about some wrestling. They have a lot of great wrestling content. Support everyone. The only way these things are gonna grow is with you guys sharing, liking, telling people about these shows that you see on YouTube, X, whatever they may be. This community is one of the most impressive communities. We only make each other get as big as we are. We do not forget where we came from. So you guys, please support everyone. Shouts out to W Energy, one of our supporters for Talk It Up Wrestling, Break It Down with Miami, DW Radio, Inside the Mind of Miami. When I'm not doing it with CJ, doing our NFL talk. So, so check their website out. That's www.w.gg. Put in the promo code Talk It Up, and you get 10% off on their gummies. They got gummy powder. They got gummy drinks. They got gummy all kind of energy stuff. Just any energy stuff that you want, you can get it. You can go on their website, type in Talking Up Wrestling. You get 10% off. Real easy to do. Whatever you want to order, that's on us. Thanks for subscribing to our YouTube. Check us out on YouTube. That's Talk It Up Wrestling on YouTube. Please subscribe. Once we're done with this, I will drop some shorts, hopefully. I know Final Boss is going to get in here. I think when this thing goes over 3 hours, you can't do a bunch of shorts for some reason. You got to manually do it yourself, which is crazy. So I wish Final Boss would have came in here early so we can go ahead and do some of the stuff. So maybe we could have probably cut it early, but maybe it'll probably act right for once. But I never did it where it went for 2 hours or three, and I could never shorten it up. I have to manually do it myself because I like when it does it on its own. But yeah, check out my boy Mike, man, kicking out on YouTube. They got some great shows, great content. He does gaming too, so you guys want to check out some gaming with him, you can check out if you like our AEW fan. If you like AEW, check out like I say, Wrestle the Collected, Wrestling Collected, the Collected. So check those guys out. You will guarantee see me tomorrow because I cleared my schedule to make sure I show up for those guys because they've been supporting us and we've been supporting them and they've been having a lot of great things going on with their YouTube also too. So just thank you guys for doing that for us. We're gonna just try to get a couple people in here to get some things going before we get into some topics today. I think we got a lot of great topics that we're going to hit on today when we get into some conversations. I know Final Boss didn't get the chance to see wrestling, not Wrestling Palooza, but Crown Jewel. But if you guys didn't see, I did a Crown Jewel review. First time I ever did one. Usually, CJ does the the reviews. So if you guys want to check out him once he comes back, he'll be back next week to do Raw reviews, NXT reviews, SmackDown reviews, and also if you have PLE reviews, he will definitely be doing those. If you guys want to check that out, so you guys check him out. When he comes back, he will have all of the um the the um the reviews. So you guys check that out. We're going to talk about why the division breakup. Best non matches was something that Final Boss wanted to talk about. She wanted to talk about people that do you remember a lot of people that were champions at the time when they were champions? It was a conversation we was having when we did talked about what was going to go on, what we was going to talk about today. So, who you remember was champion at the time. So it's like kind of like, do you remember this person being champion? So, it'll be a conversation we'll talk about. John Cena's our predictions of who will be his last match. I see today Booker T put out a tweet, and I was like, I know it's not going to be Booker T, but Booker T is still wrestling. But I was like, I don't know. Booker T did have a couple matches with John Cena, but I don't remember Booker T for a John Cena feud. Remember him more for like him and The Rock mostly, him and NWO mostly. So that's like one of my memories of when I think about Booker T. he will be probably someone we'll bring up when we talk about remembering who was champion and who had the title when they was champions. So that will be a conversation we will definitely get into when we talk about champions and who had the title when they was champion. I know a couple names y'all gonna probably not remember. So if you have someone that you remember that was champion and wasn't, and you don't remember it, please comment it in the conversation. Shouts out to you, Greg. Thank you for reposting the stream. So shouts out to you. Thank you for doing that. And I think I have my co-host here now. So there you can see. You can see your name now. Because at first everybody was complaining that they couldn't see it. So I had to wait till you get
Well,
in.
well, that's still not my name because that's only part of my name.
Oh
So
my
there's
God, then Jesus Christ, then hey, they'll be all right. Look at it at the bottom. They'll be
so
okay. It's
yeah.
it's it's
So
YouTube. They won't put the CFO on there. Maybe they thinking that hey, she ain't a CFO, so don't blame me for it. But what's going on, Final Boss? I know you did not get the chance to see Raw. So, do you want to get into the topics about? I know me, and you had a conversation about people who used to be champion. Do we remember who them being champion when they had the championship run? Does the title make the man or the man make the title? I think that was maybe one of the topics me and you was having. It was a lot of names. I was like, I can't remember this person being champion. And it was such a great conversation that we was having. So I was thinking that that could be a topic that we can just get into before I get into the vision because I did see Raw and I was like had a lot of thoughts about why did the vision break up, or do you just want me to give the people my thoughts about the vision real quick and then we get into that topic about people being champions at the time being champions?
yeah, I think the best idea in this case is talk about the vision, kind of walk us through what exactly happened. Yeah, I know there was a turn, but kind of walk us through that segment, walk us through what your thoughts are after and where you think it's going. And then I want to give my ideas about where I think it's going because I don't have to watch things to know where things are going. At least I think that, right? And then we can talk about champions because that topic is a little bit interesting and it requires a little bit of research. Because honestly, we had a lot of names and I don't remember half of them anymore. So yeah.
Yeah, well, my whole thing was with the segment with Seth and Breaker and Bronson Reed. We came off a great crown jewel. The team finally looked at like a team like almost Evolution S. Bryson Reed won his match between Roman, even though he got assisted by Breaker. Seth finally beat Cody on his own. We go into Raw. Seth does a promo. Now, yes, I understand people said Seth did say he didn't need the vision, but there was a part of that promo that he said he didn't need the vision, but he picked the vision and the vision picked him. So that really was like a good key there where I was like, if he would have left it where he said he didn't need the vision, that was it, I would understand the turn. But like I said, I think that part right there made this breakup become something where I was like, why did we do this? Now I am hearing rumors that Seth is hurt. And this goes back to when we found out Seth was hurt the first time, which you was so mad about when they cut Goldberg's match. And we found out that it was whole thing was just fake. Now we're here, and this is why they should not do storylines, or if it wasn't a storyline or plot twists like this, because now you got a lot of people that's not believing this. A lot of people are thinking, well, hey, it's karma. Hey, he should have never did it the first time. Now we're here, we're not going to believe it. They broke up this group too quick because from what I'm hearing, if he can come back early, I feel like you could have did a couple things with this breakup. You could have, if Seth was hurt, what I would have did was left the promo how it was and found out how long would he be out. You could have kept him because we already know CM Punk is the number one contender. Now I know because the poster that Triple H put out had Punk on it because this match I guess was supposed to be in that main event. So maybe the reason why they pulled the trigger so quick because they didn't know how long Seth was going to be out. But my thing is this: you could have easily changed the poster, the flyer for main event Saturday to somebody else. You could have did Cody, you could have did John, you could have did anybody, and we would have never known. But now it's out there. We're here. We're now here where we're somewhere where now we're like, okay, y'all rushed this. You made this turn too quick. You got Breaker holding up the championship, as you can see in our thumbnail. Paul was looking confused. They made Paul force he forced Paul to raise his hand. He talked to Brunson Reed, told Brunson Reed to squash him, do the tsunami on him a couple times. And I was like, it was a great shock factor because I did not see this group breaking up this quick, but it was at the wrong time because one, you now, where do we go from here? How if this is too early because the fans are thinking that, and if Seth can come back, and I was telling Reggie and Greg this one day, I was like,
Miami,
it,
just be advised that your signal is not the best because there are certain parts you do sound like a robot. So FYI.
well, I'm sorry, I can't do nothing about that. But there's things where, and maybe because I got a mic on or something, maybe, but there's times where we. I hope y'all can hear me. Can you hear me now? Do I sound good? Okay. But there's times in this story where if they want to switch it back, which I think us as the IWC, and we sometimes have to take blame for a lot of things that happen. We really do. It's got to come to a time where we got to be like, okay, some things are our fault. We don't want to take that blame, but we got to. But they can do another switch here. We was hearing things about Theory maybe joining this group, and if Seth can fight Punk for this championship, maybe they can do one thing where we can turn this story around. Is Theory interferes in Seth's match, causing Punk. Breaker and them comes out and still help Seth. And then the next day, Seth says, hey, you thought I was going to be my. Because maybe they were going to do something where Punk is going to say, hey, now you're alone. Now I'm guaranteed to win this. And maybe that'll be the build up to their match. And come to find out, Theory might interfere and Breaking Down might come down to help Seth, and then Seth will say, "Hey, I got you again. You thought I had one on you. Thought you had one on me, but I keep outsmarting you." Maybe they could do that to maybe fix this, but I don't know. People are gonna like that because now maybe people are gonna say, "Well, can Seth trust Breaker? Can Seth trust Paul? Can Seth trust Reed?" So I don't know how they're gonna fix this, final boss. It just was really interesting. They pulled this trigger early, especially if I'm hearing that Seth can come back in November. That's definitely like, man, you pulled the trigger too early. If he can come back right then and there, that's just my thoughts. I know you said you didn't see it, but you still know what a part of the story's gonna go. I just think they broke it up too soon, and maybe now Breaker's gonna win the championship, and we're moving on with something else. But that's just my thoughts.
Yeah. So it's obvious that we are going somewhere else. I do agree with you. I do agree that they broke it up way too soon. That team clearly is not built. And honestly, they just started recently getting momentum once Seth won the title. They were for out, they didn't have a name for a while. They finally got a name. They changed Paul Heyman's title to the Oracle now. So we were still kind of getting everything in motion. And then, of course, with Seth being champion, remember, we thought that Breaker was injured, and he really wasn't injured. So we're just really recovering from all these different things, and really starting to build that group. Well, I don't know if I don't think Braun Breaker was injured. I think that was part of an angle. But it didn't have the time. I know you said evolution. Oh, sorry, evolution. I don't know what the S stands for. But evolution was around for some time. They had built up to be a pretty strong group. So when they broke up, it was impactful. One of my favorite groups. It really was. Same thing with the Shield, right? The Shield they had built up for quite some time. Of course, they had debuted on SmackDown because they were on NXT, and they put it. Sorry, not SmackDown, on Raw. And they took over Raw, and they were impactful. So when we had that turn, Seth on Roman, and then also on Dean Ambrose, it was impactful. And then when they all disbanded, it was still impactful because you had Seth go ahead and join the Authority. You had Dean Ambrose become the Lunatic Fringe. You had Roman become the Big Dog. Even though there was a lot of pieces with that, he still was really a top star. Did it get over? No, but the whole point is that he still was a top star, even with that gimmick. Same thing with Evolution. Once they broke up, you had Triple H doing his regular stuff, being the cerebral assassin with the sledgehammer. You had Ric Flair, doing things. You had Batista, there, and then they did break up, and then you got the Animal Batista out of it. You had Randy Orton, the youngest champion at the time, out of it. We had rivalries in between that. We had Triple H take a screwdriver to Ric Flair, one of my favorites. So the point is that those groups had time to develop, and when they broke up, it was just impactful. Another thing that's similar to this right here for me would be American Made. That group was starting to build the momentum. They were seen as the underdog group, right? You had this group of losers, right? Like, not losers, not saying that they're bad like wrestlers or anything, but they're like mid card and people that they're placed in the mid card. So I want to make that very clear. Just because you're in the mid card does not mean that you're always going to be like, because your talent is not there. It just means that that's where they put you. So in this case, especially with Chad Gable is great. You remember, when he was with Jason Jordan. I mean, they were to be the next big thing, and of course, Jason Jordan got hurt, and then it derailed things. And because we had a great match, when Maxine Dupree, right? We seen what Otis can do when he had Tucker and he had the whole thing with Mandy Rose. Like, we all seen and of course, Tajiri Tozawa, we've seen what these people can do. This was put in a lower card or mid card type of position. So they're the underdog group trying to prove, hey, we know that we're placed here, but we really should be up here. And that group was around for a little bit, and the whole story was it was Chad Gable just being a bad guy as a leader and treating, the members pretty bad, just like, companies that I know, but treating people really bad, and and not the company that you might think it is. That him and Otis had this whole rivalry, and we were really waiting for Otis to turn. So the whole story was, when is he going to turn? When is he going to be fed up? Come on. And you had the crowd cheering, for Otis to turn on Chad Gable. And, just be his own person, stand up for himself. And he did, but when he did it, it was underwhelming, and it it didn't kind of go anywhere. And the reason why I bring this up is because that is a story of, was it time to have that turn for Otis? Yes, it was, because we were waiting and we got it. The way that they did it wasn't impactful. This, with the Vision, on the other hand, I feel the opposite. I just feel like it wasn't time just yet. We didn't want it just yet. I felt they could have teased that, they could have prolonged that, they could have caused more dissension, more tension. And especially with they have 3 strong members, of this group, and of course the Oracle, the manager, which is Paul Heyman. Now, we did hear that that Seth is reportedly injured. He has a arm injury of some sort. I believe I read that he's in a sling. And you have mentioned that he's expected to be back around Survivor Series, which is just around the corner. It's next month. So if that is true, I don't see why you would break up the group for such a short-term injury. Now, there was going to be a long-term injury where he required surgery. He's going to be out for like 6 to 9 months. Then I kind of understood that, and they still could have did something without even having that, and just wait till he returns and then kind of have that fallout, because that's something that we basically were seeing with the Judgment Day, when Liv Morgan was out for the movie. And now, of course, she's out recovering from injury. But while she was out for that movie, we were, seeing different pieces to that, things with Raquel and Roxanne. And you have Finn Balor kind of be the evil guy in the shadows, like somebody who I know, kind of pulling those strings, like somebody who I know. And we just wanted to see Liv Morgan come back and see what exactly she was walking into. And unfortunately, it didn't kind of go where we thought it was going to go, because she got injured shortly after her return, and now she's out for a longer time. And at this point, I don't think it really matters where they are when she comes back, because we've kind of lost a lot of interest in that group now, because they haven't really had any real movement in that group as we thought they would initially. And so with that being said, again, I don't see the point of them breaking up the Vision if he's going to be out for a short-term injury. I feel like unless they do some really good storytelling, they're not going to come out of this breakup being bigger stars, because the group wasn't built yet. I mean, I don't look at Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed as bigger stars because of this group. Like, I don't. We always knew that Braun Breaker was going to be, the next big thing. He's a Steiner, big pump. And we know that Bronson Reed is just really big. He's like the muscle. And we know Seth Rollins is freaking Seth Rollins, right? And Paul Heyman is fucking Paul Heyman. But I don't feel like any of them got any bigger than what they already were with the group. And I just feel like it's because the time wasn't there yet. It just hadn't had time to grow. So as far as where they're going with this, there's a lot of things with watches and things like that. Maybe it was, well, before I get there, I believe it was for shock value initially, because TNA Bound for Glory was a great show. My heart is in shambles because Team 3D is retired. I am severely heartbroken. I was super excited when they came out, because they had the original music with the original shirt, which is the black and white with Team 3D with big letters on the front. I was super excited to see them come out. Great match. We had Jeff Hardy do a swanton off a freaking ladder. He's 20. And of course, we had Santana win over the beautiful, sexy Trick Williams. So I think with matches like that, I feel like they wanted a shock value for Raw. Um, because think about it, these pay-per-views and PLEs ran back to back. We had the PLE Crown Jewel on Saturday. We had a pay-per-view, TNA Blanc Gory the next day on Sunday. So even though they're partners now, WB's been a partner with TNA for, was it has been almost a year now, I believe. I feel like they just wanted to say, hey, TNA had a great show. Crown Jewel was a show. Let the shock and amaze people. Um, and if it they did that. But what's now what? What's the long term build to that? How do you build off that? And that's gonna go back to what I was saying initially. So there's things with watches and things like that. There's some things going on with the Usos and Roman, where Roman doesn't want to see him for a while. He's frustrated and said he can do it on his own. Maybe Seth joins Roman, or maybe Seth joins the Usos. Because remember, Seth was part of everything. He said that Roman couldn't do it alone. He had the shield. When he lost the shield, he had the bloodline. Maybe Seth joins the Usos to show that hey, what I thought was correct, that Roman can't do it on his own, and they all just kind of go against Roman, and Roman is finding his place, and then maybe we'll have Roman join the Vision and be their new leader. I mean, that's what I would do with it. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
Uh, I this is the thing about it. You start telling me the story about Roman. I hope you guys can hear me because I don't see my mic moving. Okay, can you hear me, friend boss? No, you can't hear me. I don't know why. Okay, there we
Yeah,
go.
yeah, I can hear you. A thumbs up usually means yes, we can. But yes, 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 we can hear
Oh
you.
well, I didn't see my mic thing moving. That's why I asked. No, I
Oh,
don't like the idea
oh,
of,
okay.
Roman
I don't see that on mine at all. But
joining Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker because Seth has cut the promo on him saying that he needed the shield, he needed the bloodline, blase blase, and all this is going to prove to us as the fan that Seth was right. So I don't see Roman fitting into the story because Roman is arguing to the Usos that he needs to do it on his own. So that one made no booking sense. But hey, this is WWE. We're not shocked about anything they're going to do if they're going to do that and go that direction. My thing is, I wouldn't even take Seth out the equation. Now, like I say, it's many things I'm hearing. Seth might be back. Seth might need surgery. I don't know. We won't probably find out for sure. But if he can come back quick, I would throw another wrench in this story. And like I say, if you want to add another guy and make it seem like Seth was the one that made us and the Punk think that the group broke up. Cause like I say, I'm pretty sure the promo is gonna be Punk is gonna come out every week and say, "Hey, you're on your own. Now you don't got nobody with you. You don't got the Oracle, which will be Paul Heyman. You don't got your lab dogs, lab jockeys, or whatever they want to call them. Now you're by yourself. I'm guaranteed I'm gonna beat you." And they're gonna probably play into that, which I'm not gonna lie. Boss, if they're gonna play this, I'm 100% gonna say yeah, Punk might win. Only thing about it is what has me now thinking that he may not win is because they already announced Chamber is going to be in Chicago, and I'm like, well, usually when you're in hometowns, they try to give people this big fights. Maybe Punk can go into Chicago as champion and defend the title, but I was thinking that Punk was going to win Chamber, and that's how he gets into WrestleMania to face whoever they was going to have him face. Now, if Seth is going for a while, um, I'm hoping that that's not the case, because I would like Punk to see Chamber to see how they're going to play into that, because they can do Punk and Cody, because whoever wins Chamber gets to pick what champion they want to face. We can always say, if Seth is still champion, will he face Seth? Will he face Cody? Now, if it's Breaker, what's interesting is, now would they let Roman win the Rumble and just do this Roman and Breaker match early? And I don't like that decision, because I'm not gonna lie, in some type of way, I want Breaker to win, because we always complain about them not pushing over young talent. I feel like Roman can really put over Breaker in that match, if they did that match at Mania. So that means Roman would go into another Mania and won't win it again. So that's a decision I don't like. So I just think that maybe they're gonna throw a plot twist in this, hopefully, and make it seem like Seth. This was Seth playing all along, and there's another person that's gonna join the group. That's just my thoughts. And Princess is barking. But let's read some comments real quick, Final Boss, before you get to your rebuttal. You got Lou. Shouts out to our Lou, our enforcer of our DWE Island. He said, shouts out to you, Final Boss lady. He said, taking some time to listen to you, probably in the gym. Told me, hi, Miami. What's up, Lou? We have Greg. Greg said evolution was around 2 years, I believe, 2003 through 2005, and then with the reunion here and there. So that's quite some time, Final Balls. So that's way longer. If and I don't know if you and the viewers that we got.
Well, I don't even really remember it being one reunion, and I was there for that reunion, and that's what built up Triple H versus Batista. Um, you know, the thing is that Randy's always been there, Triple H has always been there. Remember, Batista had came back and then he had left for a long time. And then we hadn't seen Rick. Well, Ric Flair was there because he did have that whole storyline with Charlotte. Remember when Charlotte had a protege? I believe it was Dana Brooke at that time, if I'm not mistaken. And then she said she doesn't need him anymore, and she said nah, 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 and he left crying. So he was there, but they weren't all together, and that, of course, that was after. But they weren't all together at the same time. So I only really remember just that one reunion when they were all there, and then we had the bill between Triple H and Batista, and that was Batista's last match. And I actually liked that match because I liked when Triple H took some pliers to Batista's nose ring. I thought that was awesome. But but yeah. But Greg is right. I mean, look at how long Evolution was around. We're talking about 2 years. Division hasn't even been together not even for a year. I don't even know. Has it been at least 6 months? I don't know. But it for
I
sure hasn't
think
been at
I
least
think
not
I
even
think
a
they said
year.
it was like 100 and something odd days. I forget the
Well,
actual
that's like
amount. I
four
think it's like
months.
130 something, or 100 and something.
Mm,
I know it's 100 and something. I'm probably close to it. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty
well,
sure someone
y'all
in
know.
the
Go
comments are
ahead
going to correct us, but I know it's
and
like
say.
100 and something days. But
Mm,
no, like I said, I think this was the shortest group that he's been in, and we know that Seth has been in many groups also himself. Because a lot of people take it personal. Oh, but that's a part of being. We got to understand that when you're doing a promo and you're a heel, you're supposed to be a hypocrite. You're supposed to play. You're supposed to spot out someone else's flaws, even though you're doing it too. And because that's the relationship of Seth and Roman. Yeah, Roman's been only in two groups. Seth, you've been in four. So it's like you probably need more people than he did, but that's not Seth to point out. Seth is just pointing out, hey, You needed all these people. The reason why I needed them because you're the golden child. You're the child. You're the one that's supposed to be chosen, which is true. Because if Seth would have never hurt his knee, I always tell people, if Seth would have never hurt his knee, I only can wonder where would Roman be. Because remember, they wanted to put Seth. Seth is supposed to be where Roman's at now. Not saying he's not, but probably way farther. The main event or the always in WrestleMania all the time, because that was Roman. Once Seth hurt himself, if you notice, Roman was almost in every main event. Think about it. He broke Hulk Hogan's record in, I think,
Well,
WrestleMania 39, I'm not
well,
mistaken.
Miami, I think people know that. It was very obvious and it was very clear that WWE, they were obsessed with Seth Rollins. The whole group was really built to help get Seth Rollins over, but they wanted to find some more guys, to kind of make this group and to help get it, get everyone over, and eventually really to help more so Seth to get over. That's why he was more the leader. That's why he was the architect. Roman was just the muscle. He's really like in the Shield. I mean, I always loved Roman, but in the Shield, I mean, his role in the Shield was more kind of like a Bronson Reed or a Solo when he was the enforcer. He was the muscle. And yeah, Seth got hurt. He hurt his knee, and then we got the whole push for Roman as a result of that, which is great because now we got 2 stars out of it instead of just one. Um, but with Seth, I mean, shouts out to him because as we know, Seth has a bad knee. He's hurt it multiple times, and the fact is, he was able to come back even after he had that knee surgery or knee injuries and still be a main eventer. It's crazy because remember, he turned, had won a championship and everything, and he got hurt. And so the fact that he was able to be the star that he is today says a lot about how driven he is because Finn Balor, unfortunately, didn't get that lucky. But I feel like with Seth Rollins, because he's so scared to be that man left behind, he pushes himself to come back early from a lot of injuries most of the time. We know Seth Rollins as a guy who they said, hey, you're out for 9 months. He's out for like 6. He likes to come back early and secure a spot. And I get that. You don't want to fall down the card because you work too damn hard to fall down the card because you're great. You've been great. And once you're kind of in that hole, it's really hard to get out of it. So, I get that. And also, of course, he has a family and everything as well. So I get that. And also the age factor because, how long can you really go? And so I understand that. But with Seth, yeah, he was supposed to be that guy, that chosen guy. He got hurt, and look, we got 2 major stars out of it. Dean Ambrose was also, he was more of the person that was more behind, but he was heavily pushed as the lunatic fringe. I remember him coming out, with the wife beater and jeans on, um, and doing dirty deeds and everything. So it was an unfortunate event. He got hurt for Seth, but the outcome of it was actually it favored all 3 members of the Shield. So, I mean, my whole thing is with them breaking up. How do we build Braun Breaker to be a Seth Rollins level star? How do we build Bronson Reed to be a Seth Rollins level star now? You have to either have a really good story with Seth Rollins or you have to add somebody in this group who is also very powerful. And I mean powerful, I mean someone that's on the upper main eventer. Um, but we have seen him do it before because remember Solo. Solo is a great example of this because remember Solo had a match against who?
John Cena,
Yes, John
Cody,
Cena. You know,
Roman.
yep, yep. But remember, initially it was against John Cena. Remember, that was before Roman even had a talking type of character. Because remember, that came from inside of Cena's promo. How you said he said, "Hey, we've been waiting for you to talk, and this is all you got to say." You know, he did all that, and after Roman lost the title, we were saying, "Man, what the hell are they gonna do now?" Because we know, and we were saying it in our chat. Um, Hell, I mean, who's gonna be? There's a gnat in here. Um, we were saying, we were saying, well, who's gonna be the tribal chief now that Roman's, lost the title and that he's out? We were laughing. Solo, we were laughing. Hell, they were laughing. WE was laughing when they had that whole promo about who's next in line. With the Usos and Roman. You remember that whole bit on SmackDown, right? But yes, we were laughing at the idea of Solo even being a tribal chief character or even being a main eventer. And look what happened. Look what happened. He didn't add, well, they did add people to later on. That came way later, right? But initially, it was the same people. They just kind of moved everything around. They had Solo become this mad guy with Paul Heyman and bossing Paul Heyman around and putting him through tables and it worked. And Solo at one time, at least for me, even if you didn't like Solo, that whole character got over for a while. And you would have never thought it would have with someone Nat. With someone, like Solo, and it did. So it can happen. Because look, the same player is there. Paul Heyman's there. So I mean it can happen. But we'll have to just wait around and see what they do for here. Whether I think really, honestly, again, you're probably gonna have a really good story with Seth because of course you're gonna have Seth battling them. So that would also help them kind of build up their characters as well. Or of course they can add somebody there. Um, or they can turn on Paul Heyman. They can just become a tag team, which I think is a horrible idea. A horrible idea.
Well, now, yeah, in the well, like I say, this is why we were saying earlier, it's too early. You broke up this group. Like I say, right? If you watch the promo from Seth, I was like, man, this feels like they're in a good spot. This is coming off like mostly we're back to the. I was back to the idea. I'm going to just speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for the whole IWC, but I feel like we was back to being where it was almost evolution. It came off evolution, and I was like, hey, this is a great moment. The first promo, then they come out, they attack everyone, they attack Punk, and then boom, the turn happened. I'm like, why? Well, this is too early. Why we're doing this? And I'm like, I feel like they pulled the trigger too early. But like I say, we know Triple H loves swerves. We know they love twists. You're saying maybe they did it because of Bound for Glory. I'm just thinking maybe they just did it just because Seth. They thought they didn't know how long Seth was going to be out. We still don't know how long he's going to be out, and we was already here. You got some people saying, "Well, stop putting the title on him." I'm not saying put the title on him. Injuries happen. Come on, you had Dominic hurt for a while with his arm in the sling. We don't even know what Liv Morgan's been at. Bianca's not been back lately. Jade is now out because she
Well,
just got
well,
hurt.
well. We do know where Liv Morgan has been out. She's been out with a soldier injury. Remember, she had
Yeah,
surgery.
that one saying, but
But
we
she's looking
haven't
to
heard
come
no.
back around between now and like November, I believe, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. So, but we haven't heard no updates about it, so we don't know for sure. Even with Bianca, Bianca's been out since WrestleMania. Only time we seen her was when she did the ref with her, Jay, and Naomi. So that's the last time we seen her. We haven't seen her again. We haven't heard no things about her. So injuries happen. We talked about it before. Me and you, Final Boss, on DWE Radio about the stories that was built around Liv. We see the effect. Now they have done great since Liv's been going because there was a lot of stories surrounding Liv Morgan. Another person that I've been noticing that's been missing is your girl Nikki Betta. We need her back too, because I haven't seen her for quite some time too. I almost forgot about her. Alpha May, I don't even know where they're at. You definitely need them now because Raw tag teams, if anyone knows, Finn Balor and JD Bandana has not defended their tag team titles since I think someone said July or June. I'm not for sure, but it's been around that time. They have not defended their titles. So the Raw tag team titles do not freaking exist. The SmackDown tag team titles have been defended way more
Wait,
than
wait, wait.
Raw.
I
So we
want to
need
ask you this
something.
though. But to me, doesn't it look great when JD walks out and they have all these championships and stuff? It does look nice.
Well, yes, and I know a lot of people say, "Well, hey, they trying to be bloodline, this and that," but y'all know that the bloodline, even though I'm a bloodline fan, I can't say y'all know they wasn't the ones that started. You had the Four Horsemen used to do that. You had NWO used to have all the gold. You got all these teams that used to do that back in the day. You got to know that it's a lot of teams that was way dominant because NWO is still up there for me because the reason why I put NWO at the top because that was the thing for me when I was young. Yes, I kind of put them ahead of Bloodline and I love the Bloodline, but the reason why I put NWO at the top because that was the cool thing back when I was young. Back when I was a little child, I used to love doing the Too Sweet. I used to love doing the guitar like Hulk Hogan, even though rest in peace Hogan, and I just love coming out as Kevin Nash and my boy, Cool Daddy,
Hold on.
got done
You
the
mean
bad guy,
wait, I'm
Ray
sorry. You
Simone.
mean Big Sexy.
Well, big. Well, he Kevin Nash went by big many names. Big Sexy.
I
Um,
like the Big Sexy.
Yeah, I like Big Sexy too. What was the other name he used to go by? I can't remember. You had Kevin Nash, you had Big Sexy, you had another one he used to go by too. I can't think of it off the top of my head that he used to go by. I used to love Kevin Nash. I'm a big Kevin Nash fan too, but I'm more of a Razor Simone fan. I call him Razor Simone. I always would call him Razor Simone because hey, he's from Miami. He always had the Miami swag. I used to like him like that. So hey, he's my guy. But yeah, but let's read this last comment and we're gonna get into some things, some nostalgia about some championships. Cause hey, we gonna segue into that. But the last comment is from Greg when he said he doesn't think Romans Diesel, that's the thank you, Greg. And I'm gonna put it up. Greg said
Yes, I forgot. You know
Diesel.
what's
I forgot.
crazy? What's
I couldn't think of the
crazy?
name off the top of my
What's
head.
crazy? What's crazy is that I could have swore even when he went to TNA and they tried to redo the NWO, I
Mm,
think for a while he used Diesel and he switched over to the Big Six.
really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Okay. I didn't know
yeah.
that.
It was
I
real
thought he went
short.
back as Kevin Nash when he went to TNA.
Well, yeah, but he was still going around saying at first he was saying he was Diesel and then he was saying he was Big Sexy. Because
Oh.
remember, they were trying to, well, Hogan had really wanted to kind of redo the NWO. That's why he was there and Razor was there and Kevin Nash was there and
I
X
remember
Pac
that.
was there.
hmm
That's why. And he was paying them like an exorbitant amount of money. And
Yeah.
the thing is that
Yeah.
it didn't get far because a lot of the fans, they didn't know much about the NWO, so it didn't go where it could have
Yeah.
went.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, a lot of fans still to this day don't know about it because we got a lot of young people now.
Well,
But he,
well, that makes more sense now because it's been a longer time
yeah, it's
period.
been a way long
But
time.
back then, that was like like the 2010s, so it wasn't that far back. Now it makes sense because
Yeah.
some people probably weren't even
I
born when.
think where we're at now, there are going to be two groups that will always be remembered. And I know we're talking about WWE, but I have to give credit to Mox group. The Death Riders are going to be always remembered, and the Bloodline is going to always be remembered. I hate to say it. I know how much y'all hate the Death Riders, but they're going to be remembered. When we get older, we're going to hear these young kids like, "Who's the Death Riders? Who's the Bloodline?" And we're like, "Man, these was like one of the like iconic groups in these companies that really held the company down. But Greg was saying that the Roman, he doesn't believe that he has the bloodline. He doesn't see Roman joining Heyman again because he never thinks that you know, but he never he would but he you never know because this booking lately has been crazy. I do agree with you on that, Greg. And Greg gave us the answer to what Kevin has other names to be Diesel. And I just love when he come out like that because you come out with the black and white. He had the little name on his gear, Diesel. So that's why I can remember. Thank you, Greg. Um, and Greg also said that he did use it, but WWE had the name Big Diesel, so he went by his real name. So there you go, Final Boss. He did use it for a while. WWE must have did the copyrights and then things like that. But we're going to get into some best non matches and best like people that we remember being champions. I remember Final Boss, you were saying that Jinder Mahal was champion. And I don't know if people in our chat remembers Jinder Mahal being champion. But I was like, I remember Jinder Mahal being champion. You said you didn't remember. I said I remember because Vince put the
Oh,
title on him a
I
lot.
never said no, no, no. You know, I did not
I
say
said
I
it.
did not remember that.
I
Everybody
don't remember.
remembers Jinder Mahal being champion because remember that was when they was going over to over there to Saudi and they really wanted to
Yeah.
have
Well, before then he was champion. I'm talking about
well,
way before then. Do you remember
no, but
before then?
they said that was the point of it because they wanted to have him fight over there. That was the whole point. That's why they gave it to him because they was
Well,
trying to
well,
build
did
up. They was trying to be more international, and that's why they gave it to him. That was the whole reason behind it.
Oh well, man, if they knew that
Yeah,
2, 3 years
yeah.
ahead, then kudos on them.
So yes, it was before they went, but the whole idea was they wanted to have him come over as champion to help build that audience. That was the whole. That was the reason why they gave him the championship. That was the reason. Um.
Lou said everyone's favorite champion, Jinder Mahal. Do
Well,
y'all
okay.
remember Jack
So
Swagger
well,
being
hold
champion?
on now. I know that Gender wasn't the best champion, and they were asking
Hold
why
up
they
now.
gave it to him, and then once again, it was because they were going international and they wanted to have that hometown hero look to them. Now, I like the Maharaja. Okay, number one. Number two, he looks great because remember, he came back like all ripped and everything. He came back a whole different body from him being part of the 3 man band or 3MB. So he looked really great, amazingly great. It was a shock value about how great he looked. It just he was not the person that we thought should be champion because he wasn't built ever to be a champion. He was and I hate using this term, but he was more looked at as being a lower card, more of a jobber. Not saying he's not, talented, but that was his placement, at the time. But I definitely remember him being champion. I also remember um, what was the last time we saw him in WWE because they had announced him as like a former champion and everyone thought there was going to be some great former champion come out and it was Jinder Mahal and people were pissed. um also we had The Rock come out and that was the last time we saw Jinder. um so yes, I definitely remember him. The next person that I want to have on my list. Well, Miami, do you have a next person, or you want me to name the next person?
No, I have someone.
Okay.
Um, I do remember Jack Swagger. I know a lot of people
I
hate
don't.
Jack.
I don't
I
remember.
know a
I don't remember
lot
him
of
as
people. I'm
champion.
surprised if the chat remembers when people have a bad run. From what I thought, everyone compared it to Jack Swagger. Maybe I could be wrong, but every time someone had a bad run in WWE, everyone brought up Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger run was horrible. I remember him being champion. I remember Dolph Ziggler being champion. I remember Christian was champion. A lot of people don't remember when Christian was champion. He held Big Goldie. I don't know if people remember Big
Well,
Show
hold
being
on.
champion?
So I slightly remember um Dolph Ziggler
Dolph
as
Ziggler?
champion, but I more remember him having that
A
whole.
run.
I remember him more so for having the whole thing with Vicky Guerrero. I remember him.
Really?
Yep, I remember him more for that. I do.
Really?
Yes.
Over when he held the briefcase?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. For Dolph Ziggler, yes. And I remember him
Really?
coming out and spinning the championship around. I remember that. Iron Perfection. I remember all that, but I mostly remember him for everything he had with Vicky Guerrero. So, okay. I think we're switching auto over here.
Yeah, I'm switching auto.
Okay. All right. You have somebody next. You want me to name somebody?
I can name one more person. I don't
Okay.
know if you was gonna do the Kane
Man,
one.
this guy, he has a whole studio. He got different mics and shit.
Hey, don't hate on the player now. I come prepared for this.
Okay. You know how I feel about that bag.
But I do not remember Kane final boss. You brought up Kane, and somebody please remind me when Kane was champion, because the championship you listed,
It
I do
had to
not
have
remember.
been, you know why? Because it probably was back when he was wearing the mask.
I well, heck, most of his run was wearing the mask because he did one
No, no,
angle
no,
where he
no, no,
took
no,
it
no, no,
off,
no,
but
no, no,
still,
no, 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 no. I'm talking about when like old school came when he wore the mask and they had that whole rumor about how it's not the same guy because the real guy had like burn marks on his face like that long ago.
yeah.
That not New Day Kane, not the New Day,
Even
but
if it
like
was
not
New Day Kane, Old Day Kane,
you know
what I remember Kane for is more when him and the Taker was tag team. When they were tag team. That's what I remember Kane for. I do not remember Kane being champion. For
no,
some
I don't
reason,
remember.
I'm still racking my brain to this day. Like,
I
when
I
was
don't
he
remember him
champion?
being champion either. But I would tell you what I do remember him for, and you're gonna be blown. I like Kane.
Mm-hmm.
I like the big red machine. My favorite thing. That.
Do it again. Do it again. What was
No,
it? Do it again. Do it again.
no.
Come on, man.
No, but I remember him.
Oh, yo, talk it up, man. Boy, you
I
know what,
remember
boy.
him. I remember Kane for when he had that storyline with Lita. Do you remember that story?
Really?
Remember that story? So for those who
Yeah,
are too young to
I
remember,
remember the
hold on, we gotta go
storyline, but I
back
don't
because
remember
this is
Kane for that.
hold
I
on
remember Kane for being with
because see, I'm
Undertaker.
glad you said that. So the whole storyline with Lita was God, it was a whole thing with him and her on Raw.
He must have kidnapped her, right?
Right, but there was
Yeah,
he had kidnapped her
yeah.
and they had a baby.
Did they
And
do a baby storyline with her
yes,
too?
yes, follow me now. Yes. So the whole thing is that he did kidnap her, but there was something is because she had owed him something. But they had a baby and I shouldn't say that. She was pregnant with his baby and Kane was starting to change as a character because she was pregnant. But what happened is that she had a miscarriage because I forgot who he was facing, but it had moved and he had hit her in the back with a steel chair and she fell, and so she had a miscarriage.
I think I remember that. It was so long a time ago, but I think I remember.
Yes, but
I
that's
think
what
I
I
remember
remember
something like
Kane
that.
mostly
But
for.
was he champion around this time? That's what
No, he
I
was
was.
not
I
champion
still
at that
so
time.
I do not remember Kane being champion.
That was
I don't remember him being
really to be
IC
honest,
champion.
what I'm mentioning was kind of like towards his last of his run, to be honest. Like it was like that, and then I remember him kind of scattered, and then him coming back as Corporate Kane. So really, it was part of towards his way out. To be honest with you,
And we got a lot of Jinder Mahal
and
fans. So
also and also
remember
remember
Jinder's run, Final Boss.
huh?
I said a lot of people remember Jinder Mahal run.
Oh
so
yeah,
I guess
we do.
Jinder Mahal
Yeah,
was very
we do. Because like I said, the reason why they gave it to him is because they was going to Saudi. That was the reason why they gave it to him. Okay.
Not drop your camera over there.
Hey, but peep show. But yeah, I remember Kane more so for doing the whole storyline with Lita, and eventually, you know, of course, I remember Brothers of Destruction, and also for Corporate Kane, which I like Corporate Kane. I did. Best of business. Do you have another one, or
no? Because I'm about to get ready to look up some because I can't remember all of them. But
all right, so this is one that I remember, but some people might. Sheamus.
Yeah, I remember Sheamus being champion.
I remember when Sheamus was on top of the world. He was. We were fatigued of Sheamus, the Celtic Warrior. But yeah, I definitely remember Sheamus being champion. Man, he was super main. Like he was like really, in my opinion, he was really gonna. Like he was trying to be like the next John Cena at that time when he was champion. They pushed the hell out of him. I remember that. Of course, the Bar, which was a great group. But yeah, I definitely remember Sheamus being champion. I remember me being fatigued because that's all you saw was Sheamus coming out being champion and being. It's a shame of flame, monster, whatever. Na, 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 that. That I remember that. So, but yeah, I only talk about where I embarrassed the shit out of myself. But yeah, I remember that. The next one who I have, and we talked about this one, is I have Alberto Del Rio.
I remember Alberto.
Which
I know people hate him, but I remember.
Yeah, he did some terrible things.
I remember who cashed in. I think it was Daniel who cashed in on. No. It was Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler, I think, is the one that cashed in on.
I don't remember, but I remember his run.
Is it was him or coming out cashed in on him, and then that's how he lost the title.
Okay. Yeah, I remember his run. I remember him coming out with the towel, him swirling the towel around, him having the championship. I definitely remember that. It was actually, honestly, that was like really. I gotta plug my damn computer in. But that was really, pretty much for WWE. That was the highlight of his career. Was really him being champion. Because that's really all I remember him for was for being champion and coming out with the towel and everything. Back then he reminded me of like JBL back then, honestly. The way he came out, it reminded me of JBL back then. Now, of course, JBL character's opposite because we had him at the border running the way people at the border. That was wild. But the way he came out, you know, it reminded me of like JBL.
Now, and when we talk about championship, we're talking about when back they had Big Goldie. So we want the crowd we want people to understand that because I do not remember when Rey Mysterio had the Big Goldie championship.
Well, you're gonna go ahead and pick somebody because I got to charge my computer, or else we're gonna be in
Well, I was just saying Rey Mysterio. I do not remember him being champion because I'm looking on here. He was the World Heavyweight Champion. I do not remember that. We're talking about Big Goldie here. He was champion at one point, so I did not know that. Like I said, I remember Big Show. They do got Big Show on here because they got Big Show being the heaviest champion that ever hold Big Goldie. So that's surprising when it comes to Big Goldie. But I mean, if you think about Big Goldie, you didn't have the Yokozuna that won the WWF title. So that's why Big Show will be on this list. Now I do remember Randy winning because he was the youngest champion. The oldest champion so far has been Undertaker. I do remember Taker being champion. I do remember Batista being champion. Of course, I do remember Edge and Triple H being champion. So those guys I do remember. Now I'm pretty sure Final Balls remembers those people too being champion. I'm looking on here to see I see a name that we do not remember. Yes, I remember Rock being champion, Stone Cold, of
Yeah.
course.
I definitely remember Batista being champion. I loved when he was
Big Goldie,
the
yes.
animal.
Okay.
Yes. So you saying Big Goldie, and that's a little old school. So you gotta remember now, Big Goldie, that's the world
Well,
heavyweight
ain't that the
championship of the
one that
world.
can't hold? Which one can't held? Because I still don't
I
know
think
which one
I
held.
think
It
it
got to be that
was
one,
that
right? It got to be that one. It has to be Big Goldie. Because if you're saying, because back then,
man,
because I
I ain't
don't
gonna
think the
lie.
title changed it
I don't even
until,
like
I don't think the title changed until Cena and Randy went for it. Because Brock Lesnar had both titles too.
Randy had the heavyweight championship. Because remember what they were doing, this damn thing. What they were doing was, well, they still kind of do, is they had the heavyweight championship on Raw. That was really like, now before we had the red and blue championship, which red was for Raw and blue was for SmackDown. The heavyweight championship was on Raw, and then the other championship, WWE championship, was on SmackDown. That's what they were doing. So if you were on Raw, you won the heavyweight championship. If you were on SmackDown, you won the WWE championship. That's what they were doing for a while.
Well, I'm looking. I remember now. I don't know too many people who remember. You remember McMahon winning the championship?
No,
Really?
no.
Yeah, I remember. I remember when McMahon won the championship and the ECW championship. I don't know why they did that. So yeah, I remember that. I remember Yoko you winning it because that's back in my era. So Yokozuna is a name that slam dunk. Much as respect I have for Yokozuna, man, I remember him being champion. So yeah, I do remember Vince McMahon winning, and I'm talking about the WWF championship. Greg said, "Bring back Big Goldie." Yeah, Big Goldie is like one of those titles that. Well, I think this is what, and we see in the graph. I
Well,
think that's what they were trying to make the World Heavyweight title be like.
remember we had what's his name?
Who?
Hold on. Tommaso Ciampa, he was calling the NXT championship Goldie for a
Yeah,
while.
I remember that. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I think that's where he was getting it from because you
He
got
did,
that old school.
yeah. Because
But
remember the world the heavyweight world championship, which is Big Goldie, that's the championship that Brock Lesnar had held. It was that championship.
yeah,
The one that Triple H held that championship.
yeah, yeah. That's the one I'm looking at because you got, like I say, and I do remember, you got Alberto Del Rio. He defeated Cena for it. I'm looking at it now. That's how he became champion. He got cashed in on and Money in the Bank. He got Money in the Bank. He got cashed in on. He got cashed in with the Money in the Bank briefcase. It doesn't say who he got cashed in on because I could have swore it was Dolph. I could have swore it was Dolph Ziggler. I do. Do you remember Dean Ambrose being champion in Final Boss?
Yes, but I don't remember it being a very okay. So I remember it, but the problem with it though is that he was the guy that wasn't as big as Roman and Seth after they broke up. He was a champion. He was a champion when he was, of course, the Lunatic Fringe. But I mean, I remember him having it, but I don't remember anything notable about the run. Do you remember anything notable about the run? I remember him having it because I remember that was his character. I remember his music.
I remember the reason why I remember it because he beat Steph and Roman. He cashed in on him. He did cash in on him, so that's why I remember it. He started doing that character. I think he started wearing the jacket and stuff. He started doing this, like he was like kind of crazy gimmick. So
Yeah,
that's what I remember about it.
The lunatic fringe.
Yeah. That's where it all came from when he had the title. It started like kind of similar towards that way. So I do remember him being champion. It was almost at the end of his contract when he was about to get ready to leave to go to AEW. So that's really the reason why I remember it now.
So this is gonna be a little bit off the top. It's on the topic, but it's a bit left, right? So this is about Abyss. Now, Abyss. So for those who don't know who Abyss is, he was a TNA star. I liked him. The Abyss, his character is very similar to like a Mankind mixed with a King.
I know what you're talking about. Okay,
right. Yeah. So for those who don't know, that was his character. He was a heavy set guy. He had a mask similar to Mankind, I would say. It was a mixture between Mankind because it was half the face like Mankind with the hair. It also kind of reminded me of Kane a little bit too. That was his character. I don't really remember him as much as for being champion. That's why he's on this list. But I remember him being that character. I also remember him having a dupe character where he was basically doing the Mick Foley, the faces of Mick Foley, where he had two characters. He had one was Abyss, and the other one was like, I think the name was Joe, and it was supposedly his brother, and it was like a nerdy guy. And the whole thing was, it was two different people. It was like no one knew that it was Abyss, well, in kayfabe, that it was Abyss and the brother, and that they were having conflict, after Abyss had got hurt, he came back as his brother. It was just like a weird thing. But Abyss now, for those who don't know, like I think he's a producer for WWE, has been for over a year now. But yeah, so I like Abyss. That was good.
Yeah, I do. At first when you said, "Hey, look," I do remember. That name. I was like, it sounds familiar. I was like, who? And then when you said it, I said, oh, okay, click then. When you said who it was.
Do you remember Vince Russo being champion?
No.
I don't either.
I don't not remember it. I know I'm
I don't remember him. I remember
we was talking about it, and I not remember.
I remember Bruce Pritchard, Dr. Love. I don't remember.
I don't even remember Bruce Pritchard being champion.
No. He was champion. I'm just saying I remember him being there. I don't even remember.
Oh, okay.
I don't even remember Russo's run. I'm sorry. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't remember either. I do not remember it. If anybody would have came up and said Vince Russo was champion, I would have looked at him and said, really? And that's no disrespect. I just don't remember him being champion at all. When you think about it, I do not remember that run from him completely. So no, I do not remember that run when you think about champions. Now I'm looking at a couple ones because I know you said you don't remember Dean. Now you said you didn't remember what Bray won it, and that was interesting.
No, that's not true. So here we go once again saying things I didn't say. So I remember when Bray won it, but I remember not remember the run. A great. I remember not being a great run. I remember him having a championship. I remember being a rare looking championship. I remember when he had the whole match with him and Seth Rollins, and it was like a red cage and the toolbox. I remember him being champion because the title was a custom title. So I do remember that. It wasn't really a good run for me, but yeah, I do remember Bray Wyatt. Well, really, the Fiend. I remember the Fiend being champion. Yes.
Do you remember Jericho being champion? WWF champion now.
Shit, no, I only remember Jericho for having
Yeah,
the IC champ. I remember Jericho for having the IC. I don't remember him for being champion.
yeah.
I remember him
Back
for being IC.
December 2000, 2001, he won the WWF championship, became the undisputed WWF champion.
No, I remember him. I
And
remember
then,
him
and
more.
yes, and
I
in
remember
pay-per-view that
Jericho
they don't
more
have no
so.
more
For
Vision.
me, for Jericho, I remember him more so for one, the IC championship, and two,
Really?
yep, and two for two different things. One for him coming back as the Code Breaker,
Yeah.
and for him having that storyline between Edge, him, and Trish Stratus, where they had bet $1 Canadian they could sleep with her, and that's when Trish Stratus had turned on Chris Jericho. I remember that. You don't remember that? And she slapped him?
I don't remember that one.
Oh.
I don't
Okay.
remember that storyline.
Okay. Well, that's how they broke up
I
him.
remember Trish
That's how they
with
broke up
Ted.
him. Well, that's how
I remember.
they broke up him and Edge because the whole thing was she was with Chris Jericho and he was teaming with Edge during that time, and they had a match. And then I don't remember if it was a tag team match or what, but I remember she turned on Chris Jericho and she slapped him. And the whole story was, Edge had told Trish Stratus about how him and him had a bet against her about sleeping with her for a Canadian dollar, and that's why Chris Jericho was with Trish Stratus because of that bet. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Let me keep looking.
Most of these people I knew that was champion because I do remember, like Randy. I do remember him being champion.
Randy. I remember
We
Randy's
all
whole
remember when
thing.
John was champion because every time John was champion, they gave him pretty much a decent run. I know everyone
You remember Big Show being champion?
Yeah,
Big
I
Show.
remember Big Show. Yeah, I remember Big Show being champion.
I
I remember him being champion in WWE and WCW. I remember both. I remember both of them being, like I say, I remember him being both of it. Because like I say, and I guess me and Greg are the only people on earth that loves Big Goldie because it was Big Goldie. Only reason I like Big Goldie because of Flair. Flair used to have it. It used to look real cool on him. He used to hold it the same way Cody's holding the undisputed title now. So that's why I like Big Goldie. I love the promo that he did with Big Goldie. You got to beat the man. Da, da, da. He's always be up with
beat the man. You got to beat the man.
Yeah, I love that. That's why I love. The reason why I love Big Goldie is because of that. Flair. Flair's the reason why. That I like it so much. So that's the reason why I like it so much. So those are the reason why I like Big Goldie so much. Now I don't remember Ray winning it because it says 2006 he won it, and in 2010. Now I think I remember 2010 he won it because that's when they did that storyline where he won it. John Cena challenged him because I think this is when CM Punk maybe left and Cena beat him. It was like the next day or the same day or something like that. Ray did not hold it for long. Cena won it, which I felt like it was selfish on Cena because I feel like they could have gave Ray a run with it, but they did the storyline, which come to find out, they signed Punk at the last minute, and Punk came back in with the championship, and Cena and Punk was champ. This is back when they had the spinning title, so I'm pretty sure that's when they were saying Ray was champion. I remember that's what I'm thinking in 2010. Now 06, I do not remember Ray being champion.
Ray the championship runs.
It could have been when he used to face people like Big Show and Taker back then, maybe, because that's maybe when they was giving him a good run. That's another person I worry about when he announces his retirement because we see what WWE does with retirement matches. So it seems like they don't give a care about those. But that's one thing I do like about that Brian here. I'm looking at it says current champions. I don't want current champions. I want recent champions history. I don't know if you remember. Now I don't know if a lot of people remember Mankind being champion.
You mean when he was hardcore champion?
No, champion.
Oh.
WWF champion. See, a lot of people a lot of people only remember him for hardcore. No, he was a champ. He was a WWE champion. Now there's a lot of names. Now I got finally to someone. Bob Bagwell, I do remember him being champion. The Iron Sheik.
You mean Bob Backlund?
Yeah, Bob Backlund. My bad. I remember Iron Sheik, of course, because Iron Sheik was maybe one of the greatest heels of these times.
Shouts out to him because one thing I do like about the Iron Sheik is that for those who don't know, is that on X he has a page, and whoever maybe it's a family member, but they still post on his page like he's speaking from the grave. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Now, do you remember this title run? Ted DiBiase, not junior, but senior, being champion.
You mean like the $1 Million Man? No.
February the 5th, 1988. He was champion.
Well, hold on a minute. Of course, now I wasn't born in '88.
So you gonna make me feel old. Now everyone remembers Randy Savage being champion, of course. Randy Savage. Ultimate Warrior. Do you remember Sergeant Slaughter being champion?
I remember him carrying around, but I don't remember a lot of his run. I just remember me seeing videos of him having it.
January the 1991 when he won it.
Well, yeah, that's why I said, and you see, that's how you know I'm not a liar, because I was 1 year old when it happened. I seen videos of him having it, but
well, he won it at Royal Rumble in Miami, Florida, my hometown.
I'm done.
So,
I'm done. You going back to the years before I was born.
Well, we all remember when Ric Flair. Do you remember Bret Hart winning it?
No, I remember him having it. I remember the screw job.
October 12th, 1992.
Of course not. I was 2.
Oh, he actually won that at a house show that wasn't on TV.
They had house shows back then? Shit.
Well, yeah, of course. Back in they had more house shows than they got now. So, which I feel like they need to go back to.
I don't know. I was busy learning how to stand up.
Diesel. I do remember Diesel winning the championship. They got him down here for November the 26th, 1994. He won it in New York, and he won it at a house show. So that's crazy. So back then they just changed titles on house shows. Maybe that's something they maybe need to get back into doing, because it doesn't seem like the same. Now I do remember. I don't know if you remember Psycho Sid Final Boss. I do. I do. They say he won. He was champion one time. I do remember him.
Yeah, he was part of the original whatchamacall, the Flair group. Yes.
Who? Yeah, I remember y'all saying that. I don't remember that.
That's how I remember him for. That's the only reason why I remember him.
November.
I remember him for that, and also him remembering, being the inspiration for people like Bryan Danielson and Chris Benoit.
I know. They say they got him down here for November the 17th, 1996. He won it in New York, your hometown, Final Boss, at Survivor Series. So Yeah, yeah, they got Psycho Sid on here a couple times. Okay, here we go. Now you are right, Kane. He won it June the 28th, 1998. So,
Okay,
and this
so it
was
wasn't
it was
that.
in
Okay.
Pittsburgh. This was the first blood match at King of the Ring. So you was right. So, and I do not remember this match. You did say that, and I was like, I do not remember this match. It was crazy. Mankind, he first won it December the 29th, 1998. He won it on a Raw. So and that they still at least they still do that now. So thank God. Vince McMahon, which I was telling you, which I know you said you didn't remember, September the 14th, 1999. He
Hmm.
won it in Las Vegas, where they be
Hmm.
having WrestleMania. Well, actually, it was a vacated title on. It was the title was vacated on September the 20th. So I guess he just gave it to himself, which is a Vince McMahon thing to do. That's crazy. So there you go. He won it then.
Um,
So then,
I'm trying to think who else was champion. Who else? Who do you remember being champion? Of not looking at Google, that you remember being champion. You think that people don't remember?
most of the champions in WWE, they remember. I think people remember. Now, I don't think if people remember.
Now,
I
here's
don't
one.
think
Go
who.
ahead. No, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
don't think people remember. And I could be mistaken, but I don't think people remember Booker T being champion.
I
Even
don't.
though he says the 5 time, a
I don't.
lot
I
of
just
people
remember
don't
him
remember
saying
that.
5 times, but to be honest, I can't remember the
Exactly.
five
A
times
lot of people
when he
don't
was
remember
being
Booker T
champion.
being champion, and it's weird because that's the one. Maybe because I grew up and I remember every championship he ever won because I remember when he was in Hall of Heat. So that tells you my age
Uh,
there. There you go.
uh,
So I'm
I
telling my age
remember,
there.
and I'm glad you brought it up because we had this conversation days ago when we were coming up with topics for this episode, which I have to go and look at the list of topics that we have for this episode because I don't remember because my head is starting to hurt. But we talked about JBL being champion. And it's funny because I don't really remember him holding the title, but I remember him coming out, of course, with the limousine with the horns and the music and the
Yeah, I remember
white
you saying
cowboy
that.
hat. And this is why I always said that it reminded me of, Alberto Del Rio had reminded me of him because he had the white towel around him. Remember that? He had that too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember him, of course, in APA. I remember when they broke up because I forgot who they fought, but I remember it was a SmackDown match. And the thing was, is that if they lost, they were going to retire. And I believe
Mhm.
it was JBL who had cost the match. And then they went backstage, and that's when Simmons had basically walked out. Well, he did walk out. He walked out on JBL, but they did that because he was retiring and JBL wasn't. I remember all that. Because you know how I feel about the APA. One of my favorite moments was when The Rock was backstage with me. You know how I feel about him knocking on that door. So yeah. I remember that. He was like, hey,
Now
he was like, oh,
I
they're
know
all
I
mad.
know I
He
looked
was
at
like, watch The
Google.
Rock.
I know I looked at Google, but I do not remember RVD being champion. But I did look at that
Yeah,
at Google. I do
I
not
feel
remember
like
him
I
being
kind of
champion.
remember that for some reason.
Really?
I
I
feel
do
like I
not remember
do.
that.
I feel like
Most
I
of these folks
do.
I remember, Jeff Hardy. I know everybody remember when Jeff
I
Hardy was
don't remember
champion.
him being championship with the speed
Really?
belt. No.
That's maybe the one that everyone gets happy because that's why everybody now get happy when Seth Rollins cashed in on Jeff because on Pump because that's what happened to Jeff. He cashed in on Jeff Hardy. That's how Jeff Hardy lost the title. Because Jeff, they were saying that Jeff was going to be the mega star if he never had the problems that he had going on, which I did not know that until I think I watched this documentary and I was like, wow. To find out all that about Jeff Hardy was crazy. So yeah, definitely Jeff Hardy.
It was one Miz. I remember Miz being champion one time, but I do not remember him being champion through the pandemic when he cashed in. I forgot he had the briefcase, final boss. So that's
Who?
maybe one time
Who?
when he had the championship
Oh hell!
during the
Wait a
pandemic.
minute! No! I remember
No,
him
no, not
being
the
fucking
first
champ.
time. I'm talking about when he had the briefcase in the pandemic era. I do not remember that run. I don't remember who he. I think he cashed in. He had to cash in on True, but I do
Well,
not
if it was in
remember
the
that run.
pandemic era, that was when I was kind of going in and
Yeah,
out, and
yeah,
I was not switching over to
yeah,
AEW. So uh, you know how I feel about the pandemic era. You know how I feel about the
yeah.
Thunderdome era.
Well, yeah, most of these champions on here, Final Balls, and I'm just looking at WWE champion. Most of these are people we remember. On here, we kind of named most of the people that kind of we remember that hasn't been champion. Well, I mean, I think we named champion off the top of our heads because we hit kind of quite a few. I know everybody remember Kofi Kingston because we remember how he
Yeah,
lost
the
it.
Coffee
Yeah,
Mania,
so
all that stuff.
everyone remembers that one. I don't think no one's going to remember that because everybody hate the way it ended. Yeah, like I say, most champions have been decent champions. You got Bret Hart, which I think was one of my favorite champions because that's how you had the Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart feuds back and forth. Like gave us the classic Iron Man matches. Maybe one of the best feuds when Bret Hart and Shawn didn't like each other, and we heard the story about that. Now they're the best friends in the world. Something that I feel like Triple H and Rock did now because the back in the day, but those guys were very competitive. And I know the old school cats don't like the way these cats do it now, but I think it's still competition. It's just I think the way they're booking things. I think the point we're trying to make is the titles that we got now. Either they're not getting defended enough, or they're not being put in a great spotlight. Like I said, the Raw Tag Team titles. You don't like this run with Seth Rollins when it comes to the World Heavyweight title. I always say, yes, now we got the tag teams now doing something. Thank God Alexa and Charlotte have the women's tag team champion because at least they're in the spotlight. At least you got people saying they want to challenge for them. That's the only reason why I think that the tag team women's are getting pushed. The SmackDown tag team titles have been pretty good. Cody's now champion, but at least he's in a couple storylines because now we don't know. Well, we don't know what's going to happen with him next because he with him. But I feel like if you book these titles better enough, that you will get a better outcome, a better story when it comes down to it. And I think I cut off my thingy.
Well, we can hear you. You're just frozen. We can hear you though. Okay, and Miami is not on the screen anymore. Okay, I guess somebody's microwave is going. Okay, like dinner's ready. Okay. Well, while Miami is over there making us
Are we still
some
on here? Can you
fresh.
hear me, Final Boss?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Final Boss.
I can hear you.
Nope.
I can hear you. Yes.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Final Boss. Is she frozen? Am I
No.
frozen?
No. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and try to get Miami back. So one sec.
That Final Boss?
Yeah, I'm here.
Is she frozen away?
No.
I think I'm still up here.
Yes, you
I'm
are.
up here.
Yeah, we can see you and hear you.
Oh, I didn't know that you frozen. I
Nope.
didn't know y'all
That
could see
nope,
me.
nope.
My bad.
Well, it
But
wasn't frozen on
anyway,
my end.
because I'm
We
like,
just
you're
we just
frozen.
had you calling my
But
name
anyway, but
and
like I was saying
and
that I
they
feel
couldn't book
like
our lunch
the
dinner.
champions that we have, the booking that we have, if you book it well enough, that you will get a better storyline when it comes down to telling the stories of these champions. We're not saying the title doesn't make the man. I think that's what the whole topic of this was about. The man makes the title. I was saying that the reason why I like the Romans run because of the story. Yes, not because it's a championship, but it did make the championship more prestige than what it was when I think about that title run. Maybe one of the best title runs I can think about. Even though a lot of people don't like the NWO run, a lot of people don't like the whole NWO story, I still like that NWO group, and they had the world heavyweight title. And I feel like that was made us love Big Goldie, even when the person that won Big Goldie to take it away from NWO. That's what made that story so significant and so intrigued when it came down to me looking at that story and looking at the story of how they presented that title. So that's my thoughts on when it becomes who holds the title. I think I always say the story makes it too. If you think about it, because yes, you got to put it on the right person, but sometimes you got to have the right story. With Dolph Ziggler, I remember him being champion because of AJ Lee, and he was with Big E back then. And I think that story leading up to that was the reason why I remember those two being, I mean, him being champion and those two being with him while he was on that championship, like going to get it because he had the briefcase, he was coming out there with AJ Lee and things like that. So those are things that I do like about that championship run when you think about the title. So when you think about champions, who's the person y'all can think of when we talk about champions that um, that you remember being champion, who was champion at the time, and that run when they was the champion, and then it could be in WWE, it could be Final Boss Brothers or someone in TNA, it could be someone in TNA, it could be someone in AEW. But who run does you remember when it comes down to the championship run of being a champion? Here I do got a couple ones here. I'm gonna try to put on stage here. Hold on,
Miami,
guys.
can you hear
I
me?
got a couple of y'all comments.
Can
Let
you hear
me
me?
put
No.
y'all comments on stage. Give me a minute, cause I do got a couple comments on here, and they won't put it up there for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, that dropped. Well, I don't see my back screen no more. But yeah. Hold on. Let me see. I don't know what's going on with my thingy here. just try to get this back on stage. I think I got you back, Final Boss. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Like I said, no, we had
But
a
for
couple.
some reason, I can't see you over the layout.
Hold on, let me drop down and come back up then.
Okay. Okay, there you go. But we're gonna move on from that topic because it's getting late and my computer's dying. I have a headache, so we're not talking about no more champions. I'm done with that. Because
No, we was
yeah,
close
because
it
I know
out.
you
I
want to.
think the last
I know we
couple
can be
ones.
doing this all night, but my computer is not charging for some reason, so we on limited time now. Why is it doing that? I don't know.
No,
Probably
we
probably
about to get
because
ready to
of
close out anyway because we've been on here for almost 2 hours anyway.
yeah.
But
There is.
but
Did you
no,
want
that
to
was
go?
just mainly the topics we wanted to talk about tonight. Before we close it out, Final Boss, did you have any thoughts about the way the direction booking is going so far with WWE, or any comments before we close it out with the crew tonight?
Nope. Because I didn't watch Raw, unfortunately. I didn't really watch too much of Crown Jewel, but that's okay. I got the chance to see Bound for Glory, and shouts out to 2000 that we had across both pages for that episode of Talk It Up slash WWE TNA DWE watch parties that we do for PLEs and for pay-per-views. But I mean, there was a topic I want to go into. We're not going to do it this week. We'll probably do it next week. We'll talk about non-matches. I know that was on our card today, but we kind of got real into talking about champions. So that was a great conversation. So we're going to save that one for next week. We'll talk about the non matches, and I already know 3, and I already know the one that I'm going to pick. So I'm excited for that. I do want to talk about one last thing, and that's going to be about Elias, right? And I just want to bring this up just because, Elias returned for Bound for Glory at the end, co-event. Well, was it a co? Well, no, it was the main event. He came during the Trick Williams and Santina match. Man, it's crazy because yes, they're starting to rebuild him up again. But man, I thought that when Elias was in WWE, and of course he's in TNA now, he was going to be the next biggest thing because that was a guy that John Cena was shouting out. That walk with Elias was over. The concerts were over, and then they ruined it by having him in like a brother or something. I don't feel like that was a good gimmick for him to have him and Elijah the brother. I think that turned him into a comedy gimmick, and I think that was ultimately is what kind of really slowed down the momentum of Elias. So, do you agree with that? Do you think he's in a better place now with TNA? Do you even remember the highlights of Elias?
No, I mean, I was a fan of him when he was back in WWE. I think he goes by something else now. I think he fits in TNA. TNA is a great place for him to be at. Will we ever see him back in WWE? Yes. I mean, come on, we've seen a lot of TNA guys come to WWE. Joe Henry had a match at WrestleMania back when he was the Knockouts TNA champion facing Randy Orton. So that's that. Who knows? I
He
used to
was a
love
Knockouts
Elias and
TNA
KO.
champion. You mean just a TNA champion and Knockouts? That's for the women.
Oh, okay, man. I thought it was men knockout
I'm about to
too.
say,
My
man,
bad.
hey, they starting to give men the knockouts championship. Wow, we have
Look,
really evolved for women's wrestling. We
look,
started doing that
my,
now.
my bad. Look, well, the TNA champion, but no, I like Elias. We'll see where it goes. I think if KO can get back, they could probably do something with him and KO because remember they had him and KO. They was doing some great heel work before they left, so we'll have to see. But I did like Elias' return. It's going to be interesting to see. He came out to help Santana, so maybe there's going to be a thing where he's going to be on Santana's side, and maybe he will turn on Santana along down the line. We'll have to see when it comes to that in TNA. Oh, see, somebody said Males got TNA knockout champion. Thank you. I knew they did. Because they
Man,
called it that.
no way. Let me look it up. See, now y'all playing
I
with me.
thought I was tripping. Because I was like, I could have sworn they said, maybe I was tripping too. Maybe we tripping, man. Because I could have sworn I thought I seen
No,
that
when it said
too.
knockouts, that's the women's champion. Unless they change
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. My bad. We wrong.
yeah, I don't know now. I don't watch TNA like that.
And I don't either. So that wasn't.
Start though.
I
Hey,
don't
no,
want to be
hold on,
wrong.
because we are about to start.
Please,
We
TNA.
are about to start doing watch parties that will include.
Oh, they was just joking with us. Never mind. I was about to say, hey,
yeah,
we will.
knockout champion. That's what they call the women. They call the women's knockout champions. They've been calling them that since it was TNA Impact and Impact Zone and TNA Nonstop Action. That's how long they had that title for women, TNA Knockout Champion. Which of course, remember my girls, Angelina Love and Velvet Sky, the beautiful people, were inducted into the Hall of Fame.
They was.
Absolutely amazing. And for those who don't remember, it used to be 4 members now because those were the original members, but they also had Madison Rain, who also became the queen back then as well. And they also had Lacey Von Erich, who was also there. And then, of course, I went back to Velvet Sky and Angelina Love. And I love the beautiful people because remember, you can look, but you can never touch the beautiful people, and they're cleansing the world one person at a time. And let your bitches loose.
Yeah. But with that being said, could y'all please give us a follow on X? Please follow.
Yes, and please do it now that my name is correct. It only took about 4 months to get it right. But yes, please go ahead and do that. You know, it's been wrong, even though my name's been the same for a while now. I might change it though. It might become the counterpart now one day. I might become the counterpart boss lady. You know, if I can fit it. If I can fit it, it may be for me. So, you know, we'll see, you know, because I'm the best counterpart that one could have. And unfortunately, other people's counterparts are too busy worrying about grills. So I mean, hey, I mean that's just how it can be sometimes. It's too worried about grills and Marvel comic books and stones and pebbles and the rock that's not the rock. So yeah. That's right.
Please give her a follow. Well, it's always been right in the script, but I have not put it right on our background because for some reason when I'm making my thing,
everybody knows that Miami is my biggest hater too.
Even I know. I knew you was gonna say that. That's why I fixed it, so you won't say it. So no, I'm not your biggest hater. If I fix it, you can't.
Well, to be honest, it was wrong during the whole Bountiful Glory watch party.
Well, I didn't realize until you said, and I was like, "Well, forget it. We at the end now." So you want to say something now? But please give me a follow. Miami the Great 645. I will not be changing my name because I can't be going through those name changes like Final Boss.
Well, everybody goes through name changes. Hello, Edge, Adam Copeland, Cope.
No. Sometimes the original is the best. There's nothing like the original. Please follow the island of DWE. Please visit our island. We have a new mascot, Final Boss. Did you see it yet?
No.
Yes, we have a new mascot. So you guys go check that out. We put it in the chat. We have a new mascot. Thanks to Greg for making that for us. Yeah, we got a mascot. Hey, we're thinking outside the box. That's what DWE does. Hey, we're not no other. We're not like no other. But anyway, please go to one website www.gg.com. Put in the promo code Talk It Up. Get 10% off on their gummies, powders, everything energy they have on their website. On us from Talk It Up podcast, Talk It Up Wrestling podcast here on YouTube. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for getting us to 640, I think, subscribers we're at. We're trying to get to our super chats. That's next for us. So we're battling with that. It's going to be a while, I know. But hey, no telling. We'll probably get there. When we'll get there, before you know it, we got a lot of more work to do. Catch me tomorrow. I will be on the Collected YouTube's page with those guys tomorrow.
Ooh.
Yes, I will be on there tomorrow. I got invited.
Ooh.
Catch Final Bosses. She will be on the podcast November the 7th. What's the name?
Second.
Okay, the 2nd. My bad. The name of the podcast is Beyond the
I think it's after the slam.
After the slam.
Yeah.
You will be on there November the 2nd, which is my dad's birthday. That's crazy. I will be on there December the 7th. The EVP will be there on November the 22nd. So please check out the DWE family. I gotta remember. I know Kicking It Out because Mike was in.
Kicking It Out is gonna be on there on. Let me check. Oh, and then by the way, while I look and see when they're gonna be on there, remember to support Kicking Out at 2, and support Lady Alpha and Wide, and Subs and Square Gimmick Table. But I want to go ahead, and if I forgot anyone, you can go ahead and mention that while I go in here and see.
Well, I shouted out everyone because they was in here earlier before you came into the YouTube. They did stop by and say hey, so I did do that.
Let me see. Okay, they're gonna be on there. Oh, November 30th, actually. November 30th.
Okay, so right behind. So all of you got 3 of our people that will be on his show in November, and I'm the only one in December because December is my birthday month. Yay! Look at me. But other than that, thank you guys for coming out. 263 people. Thank you, Final Boss, for helping me out, sharing the space. Everyone who shared the live. Thanks to Greg for doing the graphs. Thanks to Greg for doing the mascot for us and making the mascot video for us.
I gotta see this mascot for myself.
Hey, don't worry about it. Everyone loves it. You late. Be quiet in here.
Don't say nothing.
Don't say nothing.
Shut up in here.
Thank you guys for supporting us. Please catch me tomorrow. I think that will be 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm pretty sure that's when the Collected goes live on their YouTube. Hopefully I can connect my page on there so you guys can find them, so you can also get their information. We will see, but if you do not see it, please follow me. I will repost it, retweet it, so you guys can go over there and check those guys out. They have great content. Our other family from another mother, The Collected. Don't make sure you join The Collected. They have a great content. Other than that, peace and love. Bye to you, Final Boss. Catch you later.
Do, 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 do.